Why is alcohol legal? Or why is it not illegal? You know, it's a question that's there. It's on people's minds. It's like, you know, why do we have this drug if it's so bad for people? Why is it there? I mean, it's been around for a long time. I got a comment the other day that said it's been around since the dawn of man. And it hasn't exactly been around for the dawn of man, but certainly for a few thousand years. I think if you go back to the dawn of time, when we were living in caves, it would have been extremely dangerous for somebody to be pissed, you know, to be inebriated. It was a hard, tough life, and it's been a hard, tough life. I mean, life for most people has been very dangerous, very tough, very abhorrent in a lot of cases for most of man's existence. It's only recently that we've started to have the kind of comforts that we have in life. I mean, you know, we live better. The poorest man in the West especially lives better than the king of old. And for most of that time, people were drinking beer because they couldn't drink the water. And the beer was extremely weak. So they weren't drinking it to get pissed. They were drinking it because they didn't want to get dehydrated, for hydration, and I suppose there was a certain amount of nutrition in it, but it was only 1 or 2%. And if you want to talk about things that have been around for thousands of years, I mean, opium is something that's been around for thousands of years. So if that's the context that we're using for, well, alcohol's been around for 1,000 years, then, you know, why aren't we using opium nowadays? And we all know that making it illegal just doesn't work. I mean, Prohibition was an epic fail. And what about the war on drugs? I mean, how can you have a war on something that is inanimate? It just doesn't make any sense to me anyway. I think another reason why alcohol is still legal is because of the money. You know, money brings power, and there's a lot of bribery that's taking place in the alcohol industry in order to keep it legal, I think, or to reduce the impact of all the scientific proof that's out there that alcohol is bad for you. Governments are also incentivized by tax, the amount of tax that they can bring in from alcohol. Individual politicians are incentivized by lobbying. Some people would say that politicians are also incentivized by keeping their herd anaesthetized, but that's a different story. And what about resolve? I mean, people have to have the resolve in order to make any changes happen in this world. You know, think about the amount of people that are drinking alcohol. Think about the amount of people who are in power at this stage who are drinking alcohol. Teachers, right? Lawyers, judges, police chiefs, government officials, you know, presidents, prime ministers. All of these people drink alcohol, and they have it in their mind that alcohol is a good thing for them, that they use alcohol for some purpose. So that's a problem. There's also the invented stories. I mean, think about all the invented stories that people make up because of their drinking. You know, I used to say to myself, you know, Guinness was the best stout. You know, Murphy's was crap. And Beamish, ugh, why would you drink that stuff? You know, and in all fairness, there was not much of a big deal about it, but we were attached to the brand. You know, same thing, people have a particular type of alcohol that they consume, and they wouldn't consume anyone else. You know, if somebody says, oh, I'm only a wine drinker, I would never drink beer. Or people drink a certain age of thing, you know, and that's another way to distinguish themselves, that they only drink old wines, for instance, or they only drink wines from a certain region, or they only drink wines above a certain price bracket, you know, it's ridiculous. You know, this is meant to put these people, in their own minds especially, on an elevated level. For me, it smacks a little bit of the emperor's new clothes. You know, it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they've been fooled. That's Mark Twain. Mark Twain reminded me of this old guy that I used to know years ago, a Land Rover guy, and he was no fool, I'll tell you that much. But I would imagine that if the drug of choice happened to be, you know, if we didn't start out with alcohol, and that hasn't been the thing that we've been using all these years, that if it was cocaine or something like that, that there would be those same differentiations, that there would be people that would be talking about the age of different cocaines, the different brands of cocaines, the different types of cocaines that were available. And it would be that same rationalization that people would use. So there's a lot of reasons why alcohol is not illegal, or there's a lot of reasons why it is legal. Now, I'm not a fan of making any drug illegal because I think that it just causes more problems than ever. And Who has got any right to tell you what you can and can't put inside your body? That's my opinion. We're all about trying to get people to stop drinking alcohol on this channel. We're all about trying to get people to see beyond that and to see the possibilities in their life when they change their mindset about drinking. And there's a lot of evidence when you take the individual and the societal harm into account that alcohol is the worst drug. Watch this video next if you want to know more about that. Take care. See you again. Onwards and upwards.